Welcome, everyone, to the PCS Like a Pro show. I'm your host, Megan Harless, as always, and I am glad for you all to be joining us today in the new year because we've got a lot to talk about today, and there's going to be a lot of changes and a lot of things happening this year that everybody that's planning a PCS should really know about. I'm just going to take a minute here real quick and share the webcast to different places. If you are planning a PCS or know somebody planning a PCS, take a moment, share the webcast with them as well, because we got a great show for you today. And like I said, there's going to be a lot of changes happening in the next couple of months that everybody PCSing really needs to know about. Before we get into what we're going to talk about today, which is going to be tips to prepare for your 2023 PCS, I just want to remind everybody, we talked about the last couple of weeks, we are in orders season. Many of you have either re-enlisted for your choice of location, gone through Marketplace, submitted your wish list of locations, and you're just waiting for those official orders to come down the pipe and land in your hands. As soon as you get your official orders, this is your reminder to get on DPS and schedule your move as soon as you can, especially if you are planning to move during that peak season. So you want to be able to have your shipment in the queue when they start booking those summer move shipments, which usually happens about the March, April timeframe. You want your move to be in line so that way when they start booking it, you have a better chance of getting your requested dates that you want. So just a reminder, once you get those orders, get that all set up for you to ensure you've got that good chance of getting the dates that you want. So we're going to dive into today. As I mentioned, it's never too early to start planning your 2023 move. And a common question that we get a lot is, give me your advice and your tips for how do you plan and prepare your move. So if you've got any tips and you're watching, go ahead, drop them in the comments. I'd love to get to some of yours, but I'm going to share my top 5 tips on how me and my family, we plan for our PCS and the ones that I share with everybody on planning for their PCS as well. So tip number 1 is that it's never too early to purge. And what we're talking about here is we're talking about doing a whole home purge. Now, this doesn't have to mean that you take a solid day and you go through and get everything done at once. It's okay to take your time. It's okay to break it down room by room, take it little section by little section. We do a whole home purge. I've got a plan I will drop in the comments for y'all later about how to break it down in 28 days. We take it literally step by step, everything from your junk drawer to under your sinks to your closets to your clothing, all of it. But it's never too early to purge. And my rule of thumb when it comes to purging is that if you haven't used it at your current location, you know you're not going to use it at your next location, and it doesn't have any sentimental value to you, go ahead and toss it. It's just taking up room. It's taking up extra space that doesn't need to be taken up. And it's just added stuff that goes against your weight allotment. In our family, we always play the game, how low can you go in terms of our weight compared to our previous PCS, and doing a home purge is a great way to kind of clear out and to ensure that you are going to be able to make weight. You're not carrying extra stuff in your shipment, and just you're getting rid of unneeded stuff. And again, when you get to unpacking, it's less stuff you have to unpack as well. So it's never too early to start a purge. I see we've got Destin here in the comments that she starts with a great purge for starting in the attic, the basement, moving up or down room by room. You can definitely break it up room by room, section by section, category by category. I know some people will go through everybody's clothing at one time, and then everybody's toys, and then all kitchen stuff, and then all closets. So you can definitely break it up section by section, however it is that you see fit, what makes sense for you. But starting with a purge is definitely the number one step in ensuring getting your home and yourself ready for a PCS. Tip number 2 is talking about things that don't move. And I'm going to drop the link here in the comments to the FAQs on Military One Source. These come from Transcom. And in there, one of the questions is that it talks about what you can and cannot move. So a general rule of thumb when it comes to what can and cannot move is if it's liquid, is it hazardous, is it flammable, is it an aerosol, can it melt, batteries, light bulbs, open food, open alcohol, those things typically cannot move. Now, if you're doing a door-to-door, some companies may be a little more lenient on that and be like, okay, we can take your open, jar of coconut oil because we're going door to door. If things are going into storage or going Oconus, that leniency kind of goes away because they don't want anything to happen in your shipment that could cause any type of catastrophic loss. So if you've got these things that can't move, it's a good time to go ahead and take stock of what you have and work on using it up and not buy any more unless you absolutely have to. So things like your hand soap, your shampoo, your body lotions, your nail polish remover, your cooking oils, your laundry detergent, all those things that are liquid of some form usually cannot move. So take the time, use them up, and only buy if you absolutely need to. But if you can go through, use them up now, again, that's less weight you have in your shipment. But it also means that you're not throwing away a whole bunch of things at the end or gifting a whole bunch of stuff to your neighbor or trying to shove additional stuff into your car that you may or may not have room for. So if you've got those things that don't move, go ahead and use them up now. Moving on to our third tip that we have is to organize, tidy, or clean up. Now, your home doesn't have to be completely spotless. You don't feel like you need to go hire a cleaner to come in and clean your house before your movers come. But what we're talking about here is go ahead and just do a little cleaning, refresh, organizing of your home. So if you've got laundry laying on the living room sofa, go ahead, fold it and put it away before your movers come. Go ahead, get the trash out of the home. Do a little spring cleaning. Put books back where books go, toys back where toys go. Take a moment to put all that stuff that kind of creeps out into all of the common spaces. Take a moment, put those things away, and just have your home a little bit tidier. Things that go in the living room, keep them in the living room. If they belong in the bedroom, put them in the bedroom. This just goes to make packing a little bit easier. The stuff that belongs in that room gets packed in boxes that go in that room. And then when it's unpacking, you're only unpacking the stuff that's in the living room. You're not unpacking stuff and trying to move stuff up and down the stairs and creating more of a mess. So if you can just take a moment and just do a little cleanup of your home before your movers come, it'll go a long way to making that packing process and that unpacking process a little bit easier. The fourth tip that we've got, again, if you guys have your own tips, I'd love to hear them. There's no one cookie cutter way to do a PCS or prepare for a PCS. And these are just the ones that our family typically goes through when we PCS and the ones that I encourage others to do. Moving on to number 4, which if you are in our group is a big one I kind of harp on and push for everything. And number 4 is to have your own inventory. You need to have your own home inventory. You need to be able to know what it is you have. You need to be able to know, like I said, what do you have and how much of it do you have? And um, should you have a catastrophic loss of some kind, you have to be able to go through and itemize everything that you've got. I'm going to drop into the comments here a link to our Google Drive. And on there, you're going to find an Excel spreadsheet where you can go and do your own home inventory. Now, the great thing of having your own home inventory, you can make it as specific or as in detail as you want. You don't have to list every spoon that you have on there one by one. You can make it as a category of things that you have. But it's not just used for if you have a catastrophic loss during your PCS. Think about if you have a catastrophic loss of a natural disaster. You have a house fire, you have a tornado or a hurricane. Your insurance company is going to require that you be able to submit an itemized list of what it is that you are claiming. So if you go through and you have your own home inventory ahead of time, it makes that process much easier. Additionally, if you have a box that doesn't show up, it got misplaced, through process of elimination of looking at what you have on your own inventory, you can determine what it is that didn't show up. Because if you have to file that claim, Itemizing it is the best thing that you can do. Otherwise, you're going to be paid out at the liability amount, which is $6 per pound, and it's configured at 7 pounds per cubic foot. So if you think about one of those small book boxes, that is 1.5 cubic feet times the 7 pounds times the $6. That's about $63 that you're going to be reimbursed for it. Whereas if you're able to itemize what was in it, you had 30 books in that box, and some of them were bigger, more expensive books that cost $25, $30 a piece, and you can be able to show your list of what showed up and what didn't. You'll be able to get back more to be able to replace the items that didn't show up. So it's always worth having your own home inventory for a whole slew of reasons. But again, we've got a plan for that. I'll get that dropped into the comments after the show. Again, it's just like the purge. It's taking it room by room, category by category for you to be able to get down everything that you need. It does take some work up front getting it done, especially if you don't have one done already. But then after that, just updating it and keeping it current, it doesn't take a lot of work. And usually you can do that like after you make a big purchase of some kind, after Christmas and after birthdays is a great time when you have more things that come into the home. But having your own home inventory just goes a long way to helping make that PCS process a little bit smoother, especially when it comes to claims. If you have to file claims, having your inventory just goes a long way to making it that much smoother. Our fifth tip that we have for you today is to have a game plan. Now, this game plan, a lot of people think of it as, how am I PCSing? What route are we taking? Where are we stopping at? What needs to go into the car? And that is great, and you should have that as part of your game plan. But you should also have a game plan for how you want the PCS process to go. How do you want your packing to go? What do you need to have done first? So for me, when our movers come into our home and I give them the tour of the home, I always ask them to start in my kids' rooms first. Please pack up my kids' rooms first. And that is because I need my kids to stop adding things to our car pile. We can only fit so many books and so many stuffed animals and so many Lego sets and so many whatever it is you name it into our car. And my kids think that our car is, Santa's sack where you just reach in and things can come out of it kind of deal. So I always say, hey, can you please start in my kids' rooms first and pack those up first? After that, can we please do the living room and dining room and the office? I always ask for our kitchen to be the last thing that's packed. Now, we get ahead of schedule and they need to start packing the kitchen. I do have things that they can start packing. They can start packing some of our mugs, some of our additional cookware, bakeware things. But I always ask for the kitchen to be packed last because I hate having to eat out already for 2 weeks. So I want to be able to cook up until the last minute possible. So having a game plan for how you want your home to go, how you want things packed, can also go a long way to just having, that expectation of what you want done and how things are going to go. So you ask them to pack certain rooms first. Those movers are going to be in those certain rooms. And in my experience, when they've shown up, I said, hey, can we do these rooms first and this room last? They're more than happy to accommodate and to do that because it's allowing them to continue to do their job. I'm not impeding them or stopping them from doing their job, but it's getting stuff done and I know what to expect, and my kids can stop adding things to the car pile. That's the big thing in our house is we can only fit so much kids. I need you to stop adding everything in the world to the car pile. So those are my 5 big tips that I pass on to everybody. I'm going to throw you with a bonus tip here. Again, if you are in our group, PCS Like a Pro, Your Smooth Move, you see this commented and shared a lot. And that tip is to pre-pack. Pre-packing it's not required, so don't think that you need to be doing all the pre-packing stuff. And when I say pre-pack, I'm not talking about packing actual boxes. I'm talking about kind of prepping and staging our home in a way to be prepared for movers. And so what that looks like in our house is that it's using trash bags over our hanging clothes as garment bags. It keeps them consolidated together. It keeps them on the hanger. It keeps them clean. I toss in there a dryer sheet and a little silica packet and it helps keep them clean and fresh. I take Ziploc flex totes and I pack our folded clothes into those, and our towels and blankets and pillows and other linens into those, because 2 of the jumbo size can stack on top of each other in a box. And when we get to our next location, I rip open that box, pull the flex totes out, and the movers can take that box away with them. It also looks like in our office area, using Ziploc bags for all the pens, pencils, markers, crayons, paper clips, all the little tiny stuff. In the kitchen, I'm using saran wrap around my knife block, because we've had that case where we have been unpacking and then suddenly there's steak knives falling out everywhere and you're trying to do the dance of not stabbing a toe. So we now saran wrap our knife block to keep our knives in place, and then I don't have to wash them too. And the same thing with our silverware tray, is I'm wrapping that in saran wrap as well. Keeps everything there and organized. It keeps everything clean, so I don't have to wash it again. And then when we're unpacking, cut off the saran wrap and you instantly have an organized drawer right there. For all of our bigger kitchen utensils, like our serving spoons and spatulas and everything, those are going into the giant Ziploc bags, and it's keeping those clean and together. So again, I don't have to do as much washing and cleaning when we go to unpack. So pre-packing is just a way of staging and prepping your home to be ready for movers. So I'm going to drop into the comments here. It's the link to our PCS Like a Pro Amazon store, where I have broken up into different categories all of the products that I use in one way or another. So you'll see on there that there is a pre-packing a PCS pre-pack tab that's got some items in it. So you can go there and see the different products I talked about and how I use them. But again, pre-packing is really just a way to help kind of prep your home and have it ready for your PCS. So that's all the tips I've got for you all today. Hopefully you've learned something new. Hopefully it helps you be more prepared for your PCS coming this year, if you are in that group that is planning for your PCS. Again, if you've got friends PCSing, please invite them to join our PCS group. It is PCS Like a Pro hyphen your smooth move. There are lots of changes coming down the pipe this year. We have our users that take place every year. Those will go into effect in May. We got new information on entitlements coming down. If you guys haven't seen the NDAA passed with a piece in there about pet transportation fees being reimbursed up to $550 for CONUS moves and up to $4,000 for OCONUS moves. And a big shout out to our friends at Leave No Pause Behind USA for spearheading that charge to get that put in there. As you know, if you saw since COVID, the cost of transporting pets has kind of skyrocketed. I know many families are spending anywhere from a couple $100s to several $1,000s on transporting their pets, just because of either the size or the location they're going to, or they're not able to take them on the plane. They got to get a private shipper. So it's definitely worth having that in there. So thank you to them again. And then if you haven't heard about it, or you've seen little blurbs of it on the news over the last couple of years, the GHC, the Global Household Goods Contract, it was awarded, it was pulled back, awarded, protested, awarded, protested and sustained again. But essentially, we are going to be moving forward with this process now. And it basically puts one company in charge of managing the PCS program. And so we're going to be looking at transitioning into that process later this year in the fall. So if you've got a move coming late next year, or if you're looking at a 2024 move, you're going to be probably moving under the GHC contract, depending on when it is that you are moving. We're going to have all the information about that, what you need to know about that, how it impacts you, the changes for that, all coming down the pipe. And it's all going to be posted in our PCS groups. That way you guys can be able to easily go back, reference it, and know what is happening. So make sure you share that with your friends. Again, our goal in that group is to be able to help educate as many people as we can on the policies, the regulations, and how to navigate issues that they may encounter so that way they can have a smooth PCS experience. But yeah, so I know that's a lot I threw at you all. That's all I've got for you today. Thank you for joining us and taking time out of your day and being here with us. Join us again next week. I got a good show for you lined up then. Happy New Year. We've survived 2022 and looking forward to 2023 and all of the goodness and great things coming this year. And just a thank you to everybody who has supported me on this page, with this webcast, with the efforts I do for PCS reform. None of this could be possible without you guys being there as well. So thank you for all of that. If you have a PCS coming, if you've got issues with your PCS, concerns, questions, comments, anything that you need assistance with, please do not hesitate to reach out. Happy to help direct you to wherever it is you need to go to get the answer, or the office you need to talk to be able to get some resolution to it. We are here and happy to help you with that. Hope you all have a smooth PCS. And until next week, remember, take care of each other.